Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're doing something really interesting looking at AI advancements and global economics and how those two might be related, particularly with what China's been up to lately. You might be surprised to hear how these changes could trickle down and even impact us here in the US. Oh, and we've got some cool AI-powered language learning stuff to talk about too.
Yeah, that's what's really wild here, the connections. Like at first glance, these topics seem totally separate, but when you dig a little deeper, it's all part of this bigger picture, you know?
Totally. So first up, let's talk Google Cloud and Snap. They're expanding their partnership to beef up that My AI chatbot thing Snap has with some really powerful AI tech, Google's Gemini.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This isn't just like some incremental improvement to a chatbot.
Right. This could totally change how we use our tech. With Gemini on board, my AI is going to be so much more intuitive. Like, imagine snapping a pic of a menu in Italian and boom, your chatbot just translates it right there on the spot. Or say you're watching a video of some crazy skateboarding trick. My AI could break down the steps for you using text and images, which is way easier than trying to figure it out just from watching.
See, this is that multimodal understanding everyone's buzzing about. It's not just about AI processing text anymore. It's images, it's videos, even code. This could completely change how we interact with our devices.
And get this, since adding Gemini Snapchat Scene, my AI engagement in the US more than double. So people are finding this new multimodal AI really useful. It makes you think, are we about to see this more intuitive and engaging AI in all our apps? What do you think?
Oh, for sure. I think this whole Snap and Google thing really shows how much people want AI that feels more natural, less like you're typing commands and more like you're just showing and explaining stuff like you do with another person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to learning new things. And hey, speaking of learning, Duolingo had some big news at their DuoCon event. They announced two AI-powered features, video call and adventures, both designed to make language learning way more immersive.
I think this is huge. We're talking about using AI to make education more engaging and effective for everyone.
Right, with video call, you get to practice your conversation skills with their AI character, Lily. It's like having a low-pressure conversation partner who can give you instant feedback on your pronunciation and grammar without all the awkwardness of talking to a real person.
It's like bridging this gap we've always had between just memorizing stuff and actually using it in real life. Like, you can know all the grammar rules in the world, but that doesn't mean you can order a coffee in a busy cafe confidently, you know?
And that's where Adventures comes in. This feature throws you right into the Duolingo world. Picture this. You're navigating a marketplace, ordering coffee from a barista, or even going through passport control, all while using your language skills.
It's brilliant. Makes learning fun and way less intimidating. And what I really like is how both these features use AI to create this personalized learning journey for each user. It's not one size fits all anymore. It's about figuring out what works best for you.
Exactly. And it gets you thinking, if AI can do this for language learning, what other parts of education could it totally change? But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, maybe we should switch gears and talk about some other things going on in the world.
You know, while we're talking about big changes around the world, we should probably talk about China, right? There's been some interesting stuff happening over there on the economic front.
Yeah, for sure. We just got word that China's cutting interest rates and they're planning some major economic stimulus measures. And I know for some people, interest rate fluctuations aren't exactly top of mind, but trust me, this is a big deal. China's economy, it's the second largest in the world, and it hasn't quite bounced back from the pandemic the way everyone thought it would.
Exactly. Their property market, which was like this huge engine for them, well, it's hit a few bumps in the road. And consumer spending isn't what it used to be either. This makes it a lot harder for them to reach that 5% economic growth target they set for themselves. For those listening, a country's growth target, it's basically how much they want their economy to expand each year. It's kind of like a measure of their overall economic health.
Gotcha. So they're really pulling out all the stops to try and get things moving again. But what exactly are these stimulus measures? It sounds kind of technical.
Yeah, it's a bit jargony, I'll admit. Basically, when a government does stimulus measures, they're trying to encourage people to spend more money and businesses to invest more. Think of it like giving their economy a little boost, hopefully in the right direction. In China's case, they're hoping to give their stock market a jump start and get people spending more within the country.
Okay, so are these moves working? What's been the initial reaction?
Well, we've already seen stock prices surge for some big Chinese companies, companies that you probably use every day without even realizing they have such a strong connection to China, Alibaba, JD.com, BYD, NIO. Lots of familiar names.
Interesting. But I bet some people listening are thinking, okay, cool, but why should I care about the Chinese stock market? I'm not living in Beijing.
Yeah.
So help us connect the dots here. Why does this matter to someone who's not like a stock market expert?
It all comes down to how interconnected the global economy really is. Whether we realize it or not, what happens in one part of the world can have a huge impact on other parts of the world.
Yeah.
It can affect everything from the price of groceries in the store to how well our own investments are doing.
So basically, if China's economy is doing well, it's usually a good thing for the rest of us too, including the U.S.
For the most part, yeah. Of course, nothing's ever that simple. There are always some potential downsides to think about.
Right, downsides. Always good to remember those. But before we get all doom and gloom, let's flip it back to the positive side for a sec. So if China's economy does get a boost from all this, who's going to benefit here in the U.S.?
Well, you got to think about the companies that do a ton of business in China, right? We're talking those big names, Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, the Magnificent Seven, tech giants, they've all got major operations over there. So if there are more people in China buying stuff, that means more iPhones sold, more Teslas on the road. You get the idea.
It's easy to forget how much those tech companies depend on what happens in China. But it's not just them, right?
Oh, no, no, no. Way more than just tech. Think about all sorts of industries. Like Nike, they rely heavily on manufacturing in China and, of course, Chinese consumers buying their stuff. Then you've got companies like Corning making that specialized glass Albemarle, providing lithium for all those electric car batteries. I mean, the list goes on and on. Even DuPont Intel, those companies have a lot riding on China doing well.
So it's not just about us buying stuff made in China. It's like this whole web of connections, the global supply chain or whatever.
Exactly. If things slow down in China, it can have this ripple effect, less demand for raw materials, which hurts the countries producing them. Manufacturing gets disrupted, maybe things get delayed, prices go up, and eventually all that stuff can impact jobs and people's livelihoods all over the world.
Wow, it's all connected, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so last question, and no pressure or anything, but what do you think, will these stimulus measures actually work? Should we be cautiously optimistic or maybe start brushing up on our Mandarin just in case?
Huh. If I could predict the global economy that accurately, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on a beach somewhere sipping on something way more exciting than coffee. Honestly, it's still early. There are definitely some good signs, but there are a lot of other things that could happen too. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
True enough. Always good to have a healthy dose of wait and see. Right. Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive. We covered a lot of ground today. We started with some really cool AI stuff, chatbots, translating our lives, language apps, making learning feel like an adventure. And then we jumped over to the global economy where China's making some big moves that could have a real impact on all of us.
And I think the biggest takeaway here is how interconnected everything is. Technology is changing so fast, and the world is changing right along with it. So we have to look beyond just the headlines and try to understand how all these different things are connected and how they might affect us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So here's something to ponder as you go about your day. How do you think these AI advancements and these potential shifts in the global economy, how might they reshape the future? I'm talking the future of work, education, our everyday lives. It's a big question, but hey, that's what these deep dives are all about. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those great conversations going.